Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chak. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazak Bar with the GMS Nebraska camp. And in this lesson, what I wanted to get into is going into how we have to make sure that we're not offended by prophecies in these last days. And what I mean by that is that well, first let's read this in 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1, which says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." And we know this. We know perilous times are going to come. What is perilous times? It's troublous times. It's difficult times. And according to prophecy, things are about to get very hectic. Things are about to get very troublous, in the world, and we see it happening. A small example of times getting more perilous, and again, this is a small example compared to what's to come, but with gas prices and getting more expensive, for example, that's all a part of the Lord's will, and we're not to get offended at that, because it can come to a point to where things start to get difficult and this walk starts to get harder, and then we start to our faith could start to waver, or we could start wondering or looking at Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, like, man, like, why are you doing this to me when I'm serving you? But we have to understand that the Lord is going to be having things happening on this earth, and even though they're going to be difficult for us, the Lord is still going to be taking us through and taking care of us, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. Because things are going to get worse. There's going to come a time where we're going to lose our jobs. Esau is replacing people's jobs with this AI. So you're going to see a lot of job cuts. You're going to see a lot of family members turning on you. We're going to see famine. A lot of different troublous times that we read in prophecy, and these things are going to affect us. And that's not, when those times come, that's supposed to build our faith, because that's showing us that we're getting closer and closer to the end, and that all the things that we've been preaching and believing on are coming to pass. So that's supposed to build our faith, But let's go to Matthew chapter 24 verse 7, where it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." So there's going to be war going on. There's going to be lack of bread, lack of water. The stores are going to be empty. This dollar is going to crash. There's going to be sicknesses, all type of things going on. And we're going to be caught up in some of these things, but we have to remember how the Lord said that he's going to treat his servants. He's going to bring his servants through these different events and prophecies and make sure that we're covered. Make sure the Lord's elect ain't going to have to worry about anything. Even though things are going to be difficult, the Lord is going to provide for his elect. So it's not, when things start to get hard, that's going to be the wrong mindset for us to be in if we start to get offended, or we start to worry or waver in the face of these hard prophecies coming to pass. Because that's something I often like to speak on, where we often talk about these prophecies, but a lot of them haven't hit home yet. And once they start to hit home, that's going to really show our character. But let's read on. It says, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." That right there is going to be something that causes a lot of people to waver, because us holding fast unto this truth is going to make us seem evil in the eyes of a lot of people. Think about when the MOTB comes out and we're still we're not taking it, or we're still professing the MOTB to be an evil thing. Esau is going to be painting us as if we're evil for that. Esau is going to be painting us as if we're criminals for that. So you're going to have people that, you know, people around you that's going to be looking at you a certain way. Society is going to be looking at you a certain way. And we can't get offended at that. We have to understand that these times are coming, and we have to expect this, you know. And what is this? But what does it say? It says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. So it says, when these prophecies that we read about, when these things start to come to pass, many people are going to be offended. Let's get into that word offended. Just Strong's G4624, the Greek word scandalizo. So let's read some of these definitions. It says, to put a stumbling block or impediment in the way upon which another may trip and fall. Metaphor, to offend, to entice to sin, to cause a person to begin to distrust and desert one whom he ought to trust and obey. And this right here is the definition which, you know, goes with this precept. This is what a lot of people are going to do when these prophecies come to pass. They're going to begin to distrust and desert Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. You know, in that time, what we're supposed to do, our trust is supposed to be heightened. We're supposed to be growing in faith when times get difficult. But a lot of people, they're going to start to feel these prophecies hit them. They're going to start to see that this truth ain't no cakewalk, that things are getting difficult, and they're going to begin to waver. They're going to begin to be offended with Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. You know, and it says what? To cause to fall away. So we have to make sure we're not amongst those that are in that spirit. You know, so let's go to we're gonna go to Romans chapter 8 and verse 35, where it says, who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? So this is telling us right here, all these things that's being named, we're going to face. Some of us are going to be in prison. Some of us are going to be faced with the threat of death, with hunger, with worry, with loved ones hating us, with, you know, all different types of troubles. But let's read that in the NLT. It says, can anything ever separate us from Hamashiach's love? Who's not going to be separated from their love with Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, the elect? And if we are of the hopeful elect, then we have to make sure we're constantly in the mindset of not being separated from our love toward Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, no matter what befalls us. It says, does it mean he no longer loves us if we have trouble or calamity, or are persecuted, or hungry, or destitute, or in danger, or threatened with death? No, that's not what that means. If we're going through these different things, the Lord still loves us, but we have to understand that the Lord is going to take us through tempting times to test us and test our worth. And if we continue to remain faithful through those times, then the Lord will have tried us and see, okay, he's fit for my calling. Let's read on. It says, as the scriptures say, or let's go back to the KJV. It says, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. You know, so no, that doesn't mean that the Lord ain't dealing with us because we going through these things. The Lord is putting all these tests in front of us because the path to the kingdom is not going to be easy. So the Lord is going to be challenging us. And it's an opportunity for us to show what we're worth. You know, so let's grab this last precept in Revelation chapter 3, verse 10, which says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Let's read that in the NLT. It says, because you have obeyed my command to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world. You know, so the Lord has commanded us to persevere, to be patient in the face of all of these times, you know. And if we continue to persevere, let's get that word persevere in the etymology. It says to persist in what one has undertaken, to pursue steadily a design or course, And so what have we undertaken? We've undertaken this truth. We've undertaken servitude toward Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And that doesn't mean that we just serve the Lord when it's easy. We have to serve the Lord when it's hard, you know, when we don't feel like it, when we're struggling, when we're suffering. That's persisting. You know, where we have to steadily pursue the Lord's design, even if that means that we have to go through hardships. But it says what? If we if we persevere, then the Lord is going to protect us from the hour of temptation. And what is that? That's that hour of tempting when Esau is coming with his solution to all these hard times going on out here. When things are when you have famine going on and you know, Jacob's trouble, you know, all these different evils, Esau is going to come with the MOTB, and a lot of people are going to take that out to make their life easier. But the elect, what they're going to do, they're going to depend on Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai's solution, you know, which is going to be faith, because the scriptures say what? The Lord's servant shall eat, the Lord's servant shall want for nothing, you know. But we have to be patient and show perseverance in these troubles in order for the Lord to come unto us and to protect us in those times, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to go into that, you know. Don't be offended when these prophecies start to hit home, because they're coming. You know, again, we're going to be losing jobs. We're going to be in hard spots, you know, but the Lord is going to set us up with the things that we need. He's going to be taking us through and making sure that we're all good, you know. So, hey, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory into Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Achar Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS, and salutations to the elect. Shalom.